Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible to all of you? Okay, so how are you? Good. Okay, yes, I'm also doing good, enjoying my weekend. Now it's almost over. So how well all of you have been? Good evening, Tamil. You are attending the class after a long time, isn't it? Is there any specific reason for that? Good evening, Elaine. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about the elasticity of demand. So do you all remember about the law of demand which we did few classes back? Okay, Tamil, that's great. Congratulations. So where are you working right now? Okay, okay. So you are doing the back end job, the paperwork and all. You're taking care of that? Okay, that's great. Your degree is going to help you to get to greater heights. Best of luck. We can just make sure that you are attending your classes, because missing class is not a good thing. That is no solution to any problem. You have to manage the time. In the MBA batch, there are many working professionals. They are all working, yet they are attending the classes. You know, in my yesterday's economics class, it was they also had the class of managerial economics. There were around 20 students. So I was really happy. I was also feeling motivated to teach, to give my best to them. Okay, so I expect the same in BBA also. In my last BBA class, there was only one student. There were just two, I guess. Samu was there and one more student was there. But that student also logged off in between. Samu was only the only student who attended the class. Samu, did you enjoy that class? Okay. So let's just start off with this. So before starting off with the topic, let us just first revise the law of demand, because this is something related to demand only. Can you just tell me what is law of demand, or what does it tell us? We did that a few classes back. Yeah, I'm waiting for the law of demand. I'm expecting an answer from somebody. What does the law of demand say? Can you just tell me? Law of demand. Samu, Elaine, Tamil Dasi. Okay, Tamil? Yes. The law of demand says, it's very simple, it says, and it's very logical as well. It just tells us that if the price of a commodity will increase, the demand for the commodity will decrease. If the price of the commodity will decrease, then the demand for the commodity will increase. Obviously, if a thing is expensive, then people will buy less of it. If it becomes cheaper, people will buy more of it. It's very simple. So today we are going to talk about the elasticity of demand. The elasticity of demand is it is something which measures the responsiveness of demand. Am I audible properly? Can everyone hear me clearly? Samu and Vinod, am I audible? Okay. So elasticity of demand is something that measures the responsiveness of demand of a product with respect to a change in certain other things. That other thing may be the price of the commodity. That other thing may be income of the consumer. That other thing may be the price of a substitute commodity. Okay, so these are the different things which influence the demand for a particular product, and how much that demand is influenced, either it will increase or decrease due to a change in other factors, that is shown to us with the help of the elasticity of demand. Let's just start. First, we are going to discuss the price elasticity of demand, because that is perhaps the most simple concept of elasticity. If we say elasticity, we mean price elasticity only. So it means the change in the quantity demanded of a product due to a change in its price is known as the price elasticity of demand. So the sensitiveness or responsiveness of demand to the change in price is called as elasticity of demand. Okay. So if the price of the commodity is increasing or decreasing, then how will the demand react? That is known as the price elasticity of demand. So suppose the price of the commodity goes down by, if the price of the commodity previously in the initial stage it was 200 rupees per commodity, and now the price of the commodity has gone down to 180. So the consumer who was earlier purchasing 10 units will now purchase maybe 15 units. So there is a change in the quantity demanded in that regard. So this, how much is the change with respect to the change in the price, that will be measured by the elasticity of demand. You can see okay. Now this elasticity of demand is of different type. First is the perfectly elastic demand, then relatively elastic, equal to utility, relatively inelastic, and perfectly inelastic. So let us just take the first one, that is perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic is the one in which, suppose there is a change in the price of the commodity by 10% and the demand for the commodity goes up by 40%. So in this case, the demand is perfectly elastic, isn't it? Hello, are you all there? Kamil, just be attentive. I said if the price of the commodity changes by 10%, it can either increase by 10% or it may decrease by 10%. And then the demand for that quantity, it changes by 40%. Either it increases by 40% or decreases by 40%. So that is the case of perfectly elastic demand. The change in the price is less as compared to the change in the quantity demanded, isn't it? So that is perfectly elastic demand. So in economics, we measure it in terms of one. So we say perfectly elastic demand is the one in which the demand is, the demand is more than 1. I think I have written less than 1, isn't it? Good evening, Prakash. You are joining late by 10 minutes. Good evening and welcome to class. Today we are discussing about the elasticity of demand. Okay. It is with respect to the demand topic which we have done in our previous classes. So now this is with relation to that only. So now the second type, relatively elastic demand. Now can you give me one example of the perfectly elastic good? Perfectly elastic good. Any example you can give to me? Gold. Samu says gold. Sorry, Vinod says gold. But yes, we can say gold. If the price of the gold goes by just 5% or 10%, people just rush into buy more of it. So the quantity demanded goes up. So that is, hello, Samu. Hello. Samu, can you hear now? Samu? Is it, am I audible? Samu, can you hear? Okay, gold is the perfect example. Then even clothes. Or we can, now what is this relatively elastic demand? Relatively elastic is when there is a change in the price and according to it there is a change in quantity demanded also. Suppose the price changes by 10% and the quantity demanded changes by 15%. So that is an example of relatively elastic demand. Okay, there is a change in the price by 10% and the quantity demanded changes by 15%. So this is an example of price elasticity. Prakash, I didn't get that. Money transfer in different currencies. We are talking with reference to the demand and the change in price. Okay. So can you give me one example of this one, the relatively elastic demand? Anything? Any example? The example can be car. If the price of car changes a little bit, there may be a small increase or decrease in its demand. If the price goes up, then one who is ready to, if the price goes up, suppose the price increases from 40% to 50%. No, Vinod, fuel is not the perfect example. Fuel is not the perfect example for this relatively elastic demand. Fuel is the perfect example for another thing that I will tell you. Okay. Then next one, elasticity of demand equal to utility. In this case, the elasticity of demand is equal to 1. Okay. So that is called the elasticity of demand. In this, if the price is changing by 10%, then the quantity demanded will also change by 10% only. They are in equal proportion to each other. Okay. So any example of this one? Tamil, an example? Anything? Hello? Airline tickets during holidays. Vinod says that. If the okay, we can say that if the price is going to go by 10%, then the demand will also go down by 10%. Yes, it can be. Now, next is the fourth one is relatively inelastic demand. Now, what is relatively inelastic demand? In this, there may be a huge change in the price, but the quantity demanded changes a little bit. Like for example, the price may go up or down by 30%, and the change in demand will only be 2% or 3%. So that is an example of relatively inelastic demand. Okay, the change in price is 30 to 40%, but the change in demand is only 3% to 4%. That is relatively inelastic, and this is always less than 1. So can you give me one example of the same, relatively inelastic? Vinod, Samu, Tamil, Prakash. Where is Elaine? Elaine. Okay, Vinod. Vinod, you have, I'm just checking you, although it's not my job, you have written a wrong statement. You have said now, can you please come again? You don't need to write one more time. One more time means the same. Okay? That's the same thing. So this one, relatively inelastic demand, is the one in which the price may change a lot, but the quantity demanded is changing in a very low proportion. Suppose the price of the commodity is going down by 30%, but the demand for that product is going up by just 3% or 2%. That is relatively inelastic demand. Okay? It is always less than 1. Yes, everyday items you can say, and the perfect example is that of salt. Salt. Whatever, even milk consumption people can restrict. They might just curtail it. Okay, instead of drinking 2 glasses of milk every day, they may just drink 1. Samu, even oil also. People may restrict. They may not eat fried food. They may not. They may use other mediums of cooking. Okay. Sugar also, Prakash. It is dependent on one's own need. But if I talk about salt, even if it's very cheap, are you going to put more salt in your food because it's cheaper now? No, you are not going to do that. If suppose the salt is very expensive, are you going to add less in your food? No, you will add as per the requirement. So whatever, the quantity, the salt will remain the same. And even fuel. Fuel is also one relatively, it has got a relatively inelastic demand. If the price is increasing or decreasing, if you have a vehicle, you have to get the fuel to run it. Alright? Clear to everybody so far? Okay, now perfectly inelastic demand, it is the one in which the price may vary a lot, but the quantity demanded remains the same. And in this case, the perfect example is salt. The price may vary, but the quantity demanded will remain the same. No one is going to buy less or more of the salt because it's cheaper or expensive, no matter what it is. So now let's see perfect diagrams which are depicting how the diagrams of such goods look like. As you can see here, this is the price, this is the quantity demanded. This is an example of perfectly elastic demand curve. The price is remaining the same and it says when the demand for a product changes, increases or decreases, even when there is no change in the price. The price is the same, but the quantity demanded is increasing. Earlier it was this at this point, now it is at this point, now it is over here, and it is over here also. It's changing continuously. The relatively elastic demand. Now you can see the price is now going down and the quantity demanded is increasing. I'll just show you how. This is the this is the price and this is the quantity demanded at this price. Now this is the price. The price has gone down and this is the quantity demanded. The price has gone down from D to here and the quantity demanded has changed from this point to this point. Okay? Did you get it, everybody? So this is relatively elastic demand. Now the next one. This is the definition. The proportionate change in demand is more than the proportionate change in price. Now this is equal to utility. In this one, the price and the quantity demanded, they remain unchanged, we can say. I'll just show you. You can see the price is this, the quantity demanded is this. The price is this, the quantity demanded is this. The price has gone down from this to this and the quantity demanded has also changed in the same proportion. Okay, so it's proportionate. Whatever is it, if this is 10% decrease, then this is also 10% increase. There is a proportionate relation. Okay, they are directly proportional. Got that? Is it clear to everybody? Elaine and Vinod? Where is Prakash? Okay. Now relatively inelastic demand. This is where the price may change a lot, but the quantity demanded is very less in change. Very less like change. You can see the price, initial price is this and the quantity demanded is this. Now the price has gone down by this much and the quantity demanded has gone by this much. The price has gone from D to B, this point, and the demand has changed just from this to this level. So this, you can see the gap is wider over here and it is much narrower in this case. Okay. This is an example of relatively inelastic demand. Then next is perfectly inelastic. In this, the quantity demanded will remain unchanged, whatever may be the change in price. Price is this, quantity demanded is this. The price is as low as this, but still the quantity demanded is the same, as I gave the example of salt. So far everything is clear to you all? Elaine, why are you so lazy in responding? all kinds can be shown in one diagram. So that is not something that we need to see. We have already seen them separately. Now, how is the price elasticity of demand measured? There are two methods. Percentage method, in fact 3 methods are there. This is the percentage method, this is the total outlay method, and the last is the geometric method, this is the third, and the fourth is arc elasticity method. Third and fourth are very complicated, and we normally don't use these methods. Okay, we use the first and the second one, and the most popular is the first one. That is the percentage method or the proportionate method. Now, what are the factors influencing the price elasticity of demand? First is the nature of commodity, availability of substitutes. Nature of commodity is important. If it's a good of necessity, then whatever may be the fluctuation in price, the demand will remain the same, even if the price goes up or the price goes down. For fruits and vegetables, even if onion is sold at 80 rupees per kg in India, then also people are buying it. And if it is available at 30 rupees a kg, people are buying it. Okay? Only the demand may vary a little bit, not too much. Instead of buying 2 kgs, they may just buy 1 kg. That is it. Minor change will be there. Then availability of substitutes. If substitutes are available, then people might just switch to substitutes. If in case the Nescafe coffee becomes very expensive, then people will start buying brew instead of Nescafe. Okay? The variety of uses of commodity. It is a multi-purpose commodity or not. Like if I say milk. Milk is something which can be used in a number of ways. Similarly, potato. It can be used in many ways. So, it means it is a necessity. We are going to buy it. Postponement. How much can we delay? Suppose the clothes are very expensive. The woolen clothes are very expensive right now. We may just delay their purchase, and we can buy them in the sale season. That is postponement. So these are some other factors. The others were income. If there is a change in our income, we may just afford that commodity even at a higher price. Then elements of time. For how much time period are we? What is the time period taken into consideration? That is also important. Then pattern of income distribution. That is a very wider aspect. Now, why is this important? Why do we study the price elasticity of demand? First, it is helpful in taking the business decisions. If a firm is tempted to increase its prices, it will first analyze the price elasticity of demand for the product. If it is expecting that the price elasticity will be more than 1, then only it is going to increase its prices. Otherwise, it may just shed off that idea. Is that fine? Everyone following? Elena, are you understanding everything? Okay. Then the next is the importance of concept in formatting tax policy. This is the wider application of this concept of price elasticity. How the government is going to frame its taxation policy. That all depends upon the price elasticity of demand. Then rewards of the factors of production. Factors of production are the means which we use to manufacture, like land, labor, capital. So this is important in that also. In terms of trade between the countries. Determination of the rates of foreign exchange. Nationalization of industries. The concept of price elasticity of demand helps in explaining the irony of poverty in the midst of plenty. Means basically it helps in the formation of economic policies of the country. Now we come to the second type of elasticity of demand, that is the income elasticity of demand. Now this is very easy to understand and very similar to price elasticity. Price elasticity was the elasticity due to changes in prices of the commodity, and income elasticity is due to the change in income of the consumer. Okay? If the income of the consumer is increasing, then how much will be the change in the quantity demanded? That is income elasticity. Now there are different types of income elasticity of demand: positive income elasticity, negative, and zero income. Positive is very simple. It is the one in which if the income is going to go up, then definitely the demand for a particular product may go up. Now, can you give me one example of the same? Positive income elasticity. Example. Positive income elasticity means the income has gone up, so the demand for the product will also go up. So can you give me one example of such a product? Anyone? Car, flat, property. Yes. BMW, exactly. One is having a Maruti car, and now he may upgrade to BMW because of the increase in his income. That is positive income elasticity. Now negative income elasticity. Negative income elasticity is when the price goes up, when the income goes up, but the demand for the product remains the same. Okay. Can you give me one example? You wrote vice versa. Vice versa for what? Hello, Elaine. Can you hear me now? Am I audible, Elaine? Income elasticity of demand is normally in the case of, negative income elasticity is in the case of cheaper goods, which we call as inferior goods. People who have been buying non-branded shoes, now with the increase in their income, they will move towards branded shoes. So cheaper goods, okay, they have a negative income elasticity. As the income goes up, the demand for them goes down. And zero income elasticity is when the change in income does not go for China Mobile instead of Apple. Hello, Elaine. Just log out and log in once. Okay. So you gave that example of China Mobile. No, that is not. That is okay. Means your income has increased, but now you will buy China Mobile instead of Apple. Okay, that's fine. Sorry. Now you can see over here the income has increased from A to P. So the quantity demanded has increased from B to S. So this is a positive elasticity. It's equal to 1 or greater than 1. Now negative income elasticity. It is the one in which you can see the income is increasing but the quantity demanded is decreasing. The income has increased from A to P and now the quantity demanded has decreased from S to B. This is an example of negative income elasticity. And zero income elasticity when things remain unaltered without any change in price will not affect the change in income will not affect the quantity demanded. And this is an all income graph presentation. So you can see the income is at A at this point, then it's increasing slowly. The demand is also going up, but after a point of time, the income has increased to this level, but the quantity demanded has decreased from this point to this point. This is negative. Now, how do we measure this income elasticity of demand? It is the proportionate change in demand upon the proportionate change in income. So, in simple terms, it is delta Q. Delta means the change. The change in quantity demanded upon the original quantity plus change in income upon the original income. Actually, it should not be plus, it should be divided by. That's a misprint we can bring. So that is change in, and this I have already told you. Now you can see when the income of the consumer is 2500, he purchases 20 units of X. When income is 3000, he purchases 25 units of X. So this means this good is having a positive, negative or zero income elasticity. Positive. Yes, it's positive. So if you have to calculate it, so we can just calculate it. It is sorry, it will be plus only. Divided is in the it's in the price elasticity. For income, it is plus. So 5 is the change in quantity demanded from 20 to 25, and 20 was the original. Change in income is 500 from 2500 to 3000. 2500 was the original. We are going to solve it and get the answer as 1.5. Should I show how we got that? 5 upon 20 will become 1 upon 4 plus 500 upon 25. This will become 1 upon what? 1 upon 5. Okay. We know the original income was 2500 only. 3000 was the increased income. Okay. Yes. So now the LCM for 4 and 5 will be 20. So 4, it will be 5 plus, this is 5, sorry, not 3. It will be 5 and this will be 4. So it will be 9 upon 20. There is some confusion here. Just a second. One second. I'm just having a glass of water. Just 1 minute. There is some confusion here. Calculation is not correct. But if we don't have to calculate, we can say that the answer should be more than 1, because the income is increasing and the quantity demanded is also increasing. Okay. Now, what are the factors affecting the income? Yeah, not sure of 1.5. That answer is wrong. Actually, I'll just confirm it. Okay, and let you know. I'll just confirm it. It's 9 upon 20 actually, you know. Now, what are the factors affecting? First is the income and next is the price of the commodity. What is its importance? It is useful in these things. Production planning and management, all these things. Okay. Now next is elasticity of substitution. This is when substitutes are available for a particular product. Like for tea leaves, there are so many substitutes. Tata tea is there. Then there is what other brands are there for tea? Taj, yes. Lipton, Kannan Devan, Tetley, okay. There is organic tea also these days, organic tea, Brooke Bond, so many substitutes. So availability of the substitute is also important. So elasticity of substitution measures the rate at which the particular product is substituted. So elasticity of substitution is the degree to which one product could be substituted in construct of price and proportion. Like elasticity of substitution, this is the definition. Proportionate change, and this is the method of calculation. Proportionate change in the quantity demanded of goods X and Y divided by the proportionate change in the ratios of goods X and Y. Now, there can be zero elasticity of substitution, infinite, and greater than 1 or unity. It can also be equal to 1 or less than 1. Let us see each of them. You can say change in the quantity, that is ratio of goods X and Y. Change in the price ratio of good X and Y. Is the next slide loaded? At my end it's not loaded. Can you see the next? Yes. Relationship between the price elasticity, income elasticity, and substitution elasticity. So as price is dependent on income and substitution effect, similarly price elasticity is also dependent on income elasticity and substitution elasticity. Means the price is changing, but is the income also changing? Is it also varying? And what is the status of the availability of substitutes of the product in the market? These are the things which are together going to decide the degree of elasticity of a product. This is something very technical, we don't need to do that. The price elasticity depends on the proportion of income spent on a particular good, income elasticity of demand, elasticity of substitution, in proportion of income spent on product other than X. Means how much is spent on Y. Now the next type, the last type is cross elasticity of demand. After price elasticity, income elasticity and substitution elasticity, the next is cross elasticity. It is the demand elasticity of demand which expresses the relationship between the change in the demand for a given product in response to a change in the price of some other product. Can you give me some examples of two things which share this type of elasticity? Any example means two things which are crossly related to each other. Anybody? Those goods are also called as complementary goods. Tea and sugar, okay, great example. They are also called complementary goods. Elaine, you are giving some example? I'll give one. Car and fuel. Car and fuel, they are two related goods, isn't it? The price of one is going to affect the sale of other. It's like the fuel becomes expensive, then the sale of car may go down. If the car becomes expensive, the sale of fuel may decrease. Okay? So this is called cross elasticity of demand. Travel and air ticket prices. Okay. Then another example of the same is bread and butter. They are complementary goods. They go with each other. Means they go hand in hand. So if the XT demand reduces tremendously, then its effect should be seen in the demand of sugar and milk. The example given by Vinod, tea and milk. The types of cross elasticity, which is equal to unity or 1, then it can be greater than 1, it can be less than 1. How do we measure it? It has got a formula which says proportionate change in demand of X upon the proportionate change in the price of Y. Okay, not in the price of X, it is price of Y. Change in quantity of X upon the change in price of Y. This is the long form of the formula. Change in quantity of X upon quantity of X plus the change in price of Y upon the original price of Y. This can also be put in the form of a the different types. So cross elasticity is seen in the case of complementary goods. Complementary goods are those which go hand in hand, which go together. One holds no importance without the other, like car and fuel, tea and sugar, bread and butter, television and remote. Okay. Now, what is the importance of this cross elasticity of demand? This holds great importance in framing the pricing policy of the product which have got good substitutes and which are complementary by nature. Then in demand forecasting, like as the example of car and fuel. How much the change in fuel price is going to affect the demand for car. Then multi-product firms use these concepts to measure the effect of change in the price of one product on the demand of the other product. So this is it. Now, there is one exercise, one question here. Now can you see? It says determine the price elasticity of demand given that the quantity demanded for product M is 1000 units at a given price of rupees 100. The price goes down to 700. The quantity demanded increases to 100 for 1100. So in this case, how much is the change in the formula will be change in quantity demanded of the product upon the change in the price of the product. So the change in quantity demanded is 30. Sorry, it's 100. It has gone from 1000 to 100 units. And the change in price is 30. Isn't it? What is the answer? I'll once again show the formula to you. Just a minute, so that there is no confusion. One minute. I'm not able to find that slide. Yes, this is the one. No. Samu says 30. Is the answer 30? Samu says 4.4. Samu, how did you get that answer? It should be 0.4 or 0.3. Samu, the formula is change in quantity demanded upon. Okay, what I'll do is I'll give this as an assignment to you for the for the upcoming week, you can solve it there. Now what I'll do is I'll show you a video. Just 5 minutes are left, so I'll just take you to the video. Okay, you can solve this as the assignment. I'll upload it at classstratter.com and you can solve the assignment. Is that fine? Everybody? I'll upload this along with the deadline. So please solve the assignment. This one along with some others. Now I'll take you to the video. Just watch it.
Every day, we buy many things, from clothing, toys, electronics, to things we really need, like food and healthcare. But before buying anything, you may have asked yourself, is this really worth the price? If you think so, then you'll buy it. If not, you'll pass. But if you really need it, you'll pay any price. If you've had these thoughts, then you're thinking like an economist. Economists call this price elasticity of demand. This measures how customers react to changes in prices. Economists determine exactly how much a change in price affects the amount of a good consumers demand through this formula. It's important to note that because demand is downward sloping, the elasticity should always be negative. Often, the negative sign is disregarded and the elasticity is referred to by its absolute value. So, let's use some example numbers. The price of ice cream rose by 15%, and the quantity bought fell by 20%. So, using the equation, we see that the price elasticity of demand is 1.33. Ice cream is elastic, because any good with an elasticity greater than 1 is elastic. Any good with an elasticity equal to 1 is unit elastic, and anything less than 1 is called inelastic. So, let's look at some real-world examples. Chevrolet automobiles have a price elasticity of 4. Chevrolet automobiles are very elastic because they can be substituted easily by other brands of cars. Some factors that affect price elasticity are the number of substitutes a good has, and how dependent you are on that good. Automobiles in the short run are also elastic, with a price elasticity of 1.2 to 1.5. This is a broader category with fewer substitutes as opposed to just a specific brand. Automobiles can still be substituted, though, with things like public transportation, carpooling, or biking, but automobiles in the long run are inelastic. This is because you are more dependent on this specific mode of transportation, which cannot be easily substituted over a long period of time. Some goods, however, are necessary, no matter what the cost. For example, gasoline is inelastic in the short run and the long run, because there are very few, if any, substitutes to gasoline. As a consumer, that means you. There are some goods that are vital to you and me, no matter what the price. Now, let's look at food and healthcare, two things we can't live without. At first glance, you may think food and healthcare are inelastic, and you would be right, except food is more elastic than you might think. Well, why is that? Food is a broad category that covers beverages, fruits, vegetables, grains, and meat. These subcategories are filled with many options of varying prices. For example, fresh fruit is very elastic and easily substituted by a cheaper processed fruit. Because of this variation, something as generic as fruit ranges in elasticity from very elastic, 3.02, to inelastic, 0.16. But healthcare is a different story. Unlike other goods, like the ones we've discussed, the price of healthcare is not affected by consumer demand. Even though prices are high and could bankrupt a consumer, suppliers know that we consumers will pay any price for treatment. We're stuck with the price set by the supplier because there are little to no substitutes for cheaper healthcare or proper treatment. This is why healthcare is inelastic. Let's look at price elasticity of healthcare services. This information was compiled by the National Defense Research Institute. And here's more recent data collected by Mathematica Policy Research, Inc. As you can see, healthcare is consistently inelastic. Healthcare everywhere is inelastic, but the price paid by consumers may vary depending on government regulations. So, as we can see, price elasticity is an important measure of demand, and different goods have different price elasticity. The consumer's choice is either sensitive to price change, such as food, or insensitive. For example, gasoline is inelastic in the short run and the long run because there are very few, if any, substitutes to gasoline. As a consumer, that means you, there are some goods that are vital to you and me, no matter what the price. Now, let's look at food and healthcare, two things we can't live without. At first glance, you may think food and healthcare are inelastic, and you would be right, except food is more elastic than you might think. Well, why is that? Food is a broad category that covers beverages, fruits, vegetables, grains, and meat. These subcategories are filled with many options of varying prices. For example, fresh fruit is very elastic and easily substituted by a cheaper processed fruit. Because of this variation, something as generic as fruit ranges in elasticity from very elastic 3.02 to inelastic 0.16. But healthcare is a different story. Unlike other goods, like the ones we've discussed, the price of healthcare is not affected by consumer demand. Even though prices are high and could bankrupt a consumer, suppliers know that we consumers will pay any price for treatment. We're stuck with the price set by the supplier because there are little to no substitutes for cheaper healthcare or proper treatment. This is why healthcare is inelastic. Let's look at price elasticity of healthcare services. This information was compiled by the National Defense Research Institute. And here's more recent data collected by Mathematica Policy Research, Inc. As you can see, healthcare is consistently inelastic. Healthcare everywhere is inelastic, but the price paid by consumers may vary depending on government regulations. So, as we can see, price elasticity is an important measure of demand, and different goods have different price elasticity. The consumer's choice is either sensitive to price change, such as food, or insensitive, as with healthcare. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate and subscribe and like UNF Honors on Facebook. Links in the description. Swoop!
Did you all see the video? Okay, so now the class is about to be over. So we'll be meeting in the next class, and I hope to see more students. Please do inform your friends that every class is very important and they need to attend it, because today we did a very important topic, that's elasticity of demand, because in examination you may get such type of questions. So you need to be very regular with your attendance and make sure you are attending all the classes, because only then you will be marked for your assignments. Yes, that formula is wrong, Tamil Rati. I'll give you the right formula. Actually, it should be divided by. Okay, it shouldn't be added for that income elasticity. I'll just confirm from my book and let you know. Okay, because I'm also getting a little confused. There are so many types of elasticities we are discussing in one go. It will be 0.03. Yes, that is the right answer. It's 30 upon 100. Okay, change in quantity demanded upon change in price. So it will be 30 upon 100, I think. That we can see and discuss. And please give your feedback at the end of the class, and see you all in the next class. Thanks for your time, everyone. Good night. Have a nice week ahead. Do take a very good sound sleep today and enjoy yourselves. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Bye. Please give the feedback. Thank you so much. See you all in the next class.